Hi everyone, Matthew Maschler with Signature Real Estate Finder, and today we're going to answer the question, will my house sell faster if I stage it? Welcome back, or if you're new here, feel free to subscribe. So what does it mean to stage a home? There's a variety of different staging techniques. There's use what you have staging, having a realtor or having a decorator come in and try to declutter the house. You want to take a lot of the personal effects out of the house. The buyer wants to come in and imagine themselves living in the house. Too many personal effects will prevent the buyer from emotionally investing, from imagining the house is theirs. All they'll see is someone else's house. You may know the feeling of walking into a new construction community. And in a new construction house, they're not just showing the bare walls and bare floors and bare kitchens. They're decorating, they're using thought and planning to decorate the house and put in furniture so that the buyer can imagine themselves in that space. So when you're staging the house, there's several different approaches. First off, anyone needs to do is declutter and depersonalize. You can do some light staging. It's called use what you have decorating, or you could go, with a full Monty and really come in and decorate, clean, keep it really fresh. You want to use light neutral colors, keep the house fresh. You want the buyer to be able to see themselves living in the house. One of my stagers likes to say, if you can smell it, you can't sell it, right? You don't want the buyer to walk into a house where there's weird smells and weird things to see, and it just distracts them from imagining what it's like to live in that house, from picturing themselves raising their children or living there by themselves or living there with whoever they live with. But you want them to be able to picture themselves living in that house. When I look at a house, I always think about, how would I live in this house? Where am I watching TV? Where am I making dinner? Where am I spending my time? And if I can't get to that because I see a lot of souvenirs, a lot of clutter, a lot of pictures, again, weird smells, weird collections, you're going to cost yourself money, you're going to cost yourself time, or you're going to cost yourself both. You don't want your house lingering on the market because the buyers just can't see past your stuff. When I was considering what I wanted to say in this video, I asked a lot of questions to ChatGPT to come out with an outline, come out with some things to think about, give you a little bit of behind the scenes. So ChatGPT says you want to minimize perceived flaws, right? That's a very ChatGPT way to phrase it. I call it shrugs. When you're walking through the house and you see something a little bit odd, something you don't like, maybe something broken, maybe a window that's cracked, this stuff happens, right? So you shrug your shoulders. And you can get past that. A buyer can get past that. They can go on, they can move on to the next thing. Then when they get to the kitchen, maybe something else is weird or out of place. Maybe they shrug a second time. You only get 2 shrugs. If the buyer shrugs for a third time, you're not getting an offer. And I've got to tell you something. When I say shrug, this is something, you're not going to get this in a book, you're not going to get this on the internet. This is something I made up. I'm not saying I made up the word shrug, but I made up the concept of showing a house and noticing if the potential buyer shrugs. And I've seen it 100 times, maybe 1,000 times. The buyer can ignore something. The buyer can ignore something else. They can't ignore 3 things. And that's just my back of the envelope rule. It's not a law, it's not written anywhere, but it comes from my experience. And that's what I want to share with you in these videos. I want to share my experience. So if you get into a house that's strange, that has weird collections, like I said, I walked into a house that had hardware everywhere, every nail, every drill bit. You're not getting past that. The buyer, they can't see themselves living there. You got to get that stuff out of there. And that's part of staging, right? Decluttering the house is part of staging. So decluttering and depersonalizing is step 1. And there's lots of different varieties of staging. And if you contact me or any of my agents, we'll advise you of what you need. We can go through the house with you, see what needs to be done, and see if we need to bring in a professional. And we have many professionals to choose from. We have the use what you have stagers. We have those that we have used. They're very, very helpful. And for the big vacant house, we have real full home staging. And I gotta tell you something. If you have a $2 or $3 million house and it's vacant, there's a difference between showing someone a vacant house and showing someone a house that is fully staged. And the last house that I sold for $2.5 million, I know for a fact I got $200,000 more for my seller because we staged it. We've done that multiple times. We've done that in the Oaks. We've done that in Glen Eagles. We've done that in Wellington. I remember that community. And we took over that Wellington listing. We got it from another agent. That agent could not sell the property. We took it. We staged it. All new photos. Bam, bidding war. Three offers the week we put it on the market. And that's what we do. And it's not just about staging. It's about positioning your house. So that's what we bring at Signature Real Estate Finder. We bring the expertise to help you, to advise you how to position your house so that way when a buyer comes to see it, they can imagine themselves living there, and ultimately that produces an offer. According to the National Association of Realtors, 48% of listing agents reported that staging the home resulted in a decreased time on market, and 20% of buyer's agents reported that staging the house has increased the contract price by between 1 and 5%. So if you're a home seller or a listing agent advising a home seller, I hope you found this video helpful. If you're thinking about staging your home, feel free to ask any questions in the comments. Thank you for joining me on the Real Estate Finder channel. I hope you enjoyed these videos. Also check out my podcast, Real Estate Finder Podcast. Check out realestatefinder.com. I'm Matthew Maschler, Signature Real Estate Finder. Stay with us. I hope to see you in the next video.